Okay, I'm getting ready to cut the tacks loose on my upper mounts, take those over to the welding table and finish welding those up. I received in the mail, I ordered some energy suspension bump stops. I got a universal one, that one right there. My plan is, I think it'll work when I was working with the arms previously. This was a tab, I think it was for the limit straps originally on the original setup of this buggy. But I think it's going to be able to mount it right there, and it'll come in contact with my lower arm. I may have to put like a little tab on the arm to extend it, or it may line up on it, but either way I think it's going to work pretty good without having to do too much fabrication. So that'll be next after I get those welded up. Okay, I'm working on the bump stops. Right now I got 3/16 plate. That's about 2.5 inch diameter there. I'm getting ready to tack this nut on top of that. This will be the top bracket to hold the bump stop, and this will be the bottom that'll attach to the arm. And that'll get set on top of that and welded, and that'll go to the frame. So you end up with something that looks like that. And this will move up and down. So that'll hit the arm, like I said. I'll get this welded up and I'll take it over to the chassis and show you what it looks like. Okay, here's the general idea. This little plate here will go on the bottom right there. I'm going to put it right on the strongest part of the arm where it has this bracket in it, and that'll slide underneath there. Well, that's the general idea right there. And I want to make a gusset for right there. It'll be gusseted in, but that gives me, I don't know, about 3/4 of an inch from there, plus this will be under it. I don't know how much this is going to crush, so I'm trying to make it, I know it'll at least crush that much. So if it goes too far, I can always put spacers in here. I can put like an aluminum spacer in there. I can put a 1/2 inch, 3/4, whatever I would need to in there once I figure out how much that crushes when it bumps. But that should work okay. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, here it is with the bracket I made for it. I'll just weld that all in, and I think that'll be pretty good. I think it's going to work out nice. I may put a bracket on this side too. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I don't think it'll need it, but we'll see. Here's something I thought of, I'm experimenting with. This is 1-inch tubing. It's 1/16 inch thick. I drilled a 3/8 hole in it, and it's 1 inch wide. And what I'm going to try to do with those, still kind of playing around with it, I'm going to use it for my wiring harnesses. If you have, this is like 3/4 inches, so this is a scrap piece. I just run the zip tie through it, through the hole, and on a big one, I can just weld that to the frame, and that'll hold the harness in place. Now this is a thicker one here, like I say, that one's 3/4, a bunch of wires. On a thinner one, like this, is only about 5 wires. I cut it almost in half. I cut it right at the hole, so it kind of gave me the C shape, and ran it there. I'll tack that onto the frame, and that'll keep the wire nice and tight to it. So this is the way I'm thinking about running my wires. I can tack those along. It's kind of clean. I guess the downside of this is if I have to remove the wiring harness, it'd be a pain because it's kind of encapsulated in those. So I'm not sure I'll do it that way. I may leave them open on the front, but again, this is something I came up with, I thought about, and wanted to try it. But I think it'll work. Like I said, it'll make it nice and clean, and it'll look good, and I kind of hide them where I want along the tubing. So we'll see. Okay, I finished welding on the coilovers, and hopefully they're right because I fully welded them. So they're in place, and I put one weld on one side of these. When I pull these arms off, I fully weld those, and like I said, I'm going to box this one up on this side, but both sides are on there. There's the passenger side. So it's fully welded on, so hopefully everything works out. Okay, instead of running this gusset that I was going to run with the bump stop right there, I decided to do a 1-inch channel So it'll make it more secure, kind of left to right, stir it up a little bit. It was just a piece of channel I had that I cut. So it kind of like two gussets on each side now instead. So that's what I did. Okay, I successfully got the old reservoir mounts off, so they came off pretty good. I just cut them straight at the weld. So they are going to go on the Baja shelf, and hopefully we'll get to reuse them later. Okay, I got my shock mounts done, the lower mounts done, the bump stops, cut off a bunch of extra tabs back here, welded a little bit on my reservoir mounts, a little bit on the top, make those a little stronger. So I'm ready to put the coilovers back on. I also added my little section here for my fuel filter. This will hold the wire, or not the wire, that'll hold the tube, the fuel line. That'll keep it out of the way, keep it back away from the motor. I just use this aluminum rod to line them up distance-wise so it comes out beside the motor. So now my fuel filter will go right in the middle right there, so it'll be easy to change and see it when I need to change it. I think that's going to work. Like I say, I'll splice a fuel filter in between there, but that'll hold the gas line pretty nice. So I'm happy with it. I can live with that. Okay, next thing I'm going to do, I want to put a rear hitch on the back. Probably for a bike rack or just for a cooler or just something. I'm just going to put a 1 1/4 inch hitch in it. So I don't think it'll be overly complicated. I'm going to go into my lower tube here and get it in there. So that's going to be what I'm going to work on now. Okay, I marked my skid plate so that can go through. I need to know. So I'll cut that out. That'll let that pass through. I didn't know how far this stuck out, so I didn't know how far to keep my hitch pin there. So I need this on it in order to get this welded up. So I'm going to cut that out next. Okay, here's the hitch. Triangulated it in the back. You can see that with 1 inch, 1/8 tube. And then I run a 1 1/2 tube from the top to the up rail there. I think that should be enough. And then there's also gussets I have here on the corner, so that should keep it from going left to right and up and down. So more or less a glorified bike mount, really, probably for bikes, or maybe a small tow behind, like sleeper camper kind of thing. Nothing big. This piece bolts on anyway, so it's only going to be as strong as that anyway. So I think that's going to be good enough. So I think I'm happy with it. That's going to work. Now I'm going to clean up the floor because it's a mess back here, and put my coilovers on it, drop it back down on the ground, and see where we're at.
No sugar either, but it does have vitamins and antioxidants. Find Sparkling Ice in a major grocery store or club retailer near you. Sparkling Ice, anything but solid.
Okay, I guess this is where I'm going to end this video. I got a lot done this weekend. I had the buggy back onto the ground. It's a roller again. I got the coil-over mounts repositioned. They're working properly. I got the right distance between everything and adjustability, so I'm really happy with it. Range of motion is good with it. I got the bump stops on. I got the limit straps worked out, and I got the hitch put on the back of it. So now I'm getting down to just little details, so hopefully it'll start speeding up. I'm going to have to take about a week's break before the next video comes out. I've got some more set pieces to do for the theater, so that'll make me some more money for this. So I get for the Baja, I'll be able to get my axles and my CVs for that. So waiting on the transmission. It should be here any day now, so that'll be the next video probably. And again, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next one. Thanks.